Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Waterproofing Wisdom. And this is the start of a multi-part series. So you might have to wait a few months to get the other parts, or I might release them early, who knows. But I wanted to share some stuff about specialist structural waterproofing contractors. And part one is, well, why does it need to be a specialist structural waterproofing contractor? And this is coming off the back of a project where we have done a really comprehensive waterproofing design. We've been involved from RIBA Stage 2 to 4B, and we're now involved at RIBA Stage 5 on the compliance monitoring team. And it's a project that's been procured as a design and build project, and our waterproofing design reports and all of that content very clearly stipulates you must use a specialist structural waterproofing contractor to install the waterproofing, and this should be under a with design contract. However, the main contractor has said, no, we don't want to do that. And they've had a supplier provided design that explicitly states it's not a design. And the main contractor has also proclaimed that they are the structural waterproofing specialist contractor because they've had some toolbox talks. And so it made me think of this video, and I wanted to share it with you. So let me show you this video, I hope.
Take 2 pieces of white bread out of the bag. Take the lid off the jar of peanut butter. Get a butter knife and stick it inside of the peanut butter jar. With the knife, scoop a bit of peanut butter out of the...
That means like a lot.
A bit means a lot?
In my world.
Spread your scoop of peanut butter onto one of your pieces of bread with a knife. All right? There we go.
You're doing better than before, though.
Open the jelly jar. Squeeze it onto the other piece of bread.
No.
Done. Closer. Get 2 pieces bread. Get some peanut butter. Take the peanut butter knife. Open the peanut butter. Put the knife in the PB. Get some jelly. Open the jelly.
No.
Squirt the jelly onto the bread.
You're supposed to...
Take the butter knife with the peanut butter on it. Wipe it all over the piece of bread that's blank. Take the butter knife. Rub the jelly all over the piece of bread.
Oh, he's doing better. Oh.
It says all over. Put the 2 pieces on top of each other.
This is how I meant.
Take 2 pieces of white bread out of the bag. Take the lid off the jar of peanut butter. Get a butter knife and stick it inside of the peanut butter jar. With the knife, scoop some of the peanut butter out of the inside of the jar. Spread your scoop of peanut butter onto one of your pieces of bread with a knife.
No.
Squeeze some jelly.
I've got to stop there. I so relate to these kids trying to tell their dad how to make this peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and you know, my experience is there is no amount of precise explanation of how to do waterproofing that's going to do enough if the person doing the waterproofing isn't a competent person. And a toolbox talk, an hour's toolbox talk for operatives on site does not make for us waterproofing specialist. As a waterproofing specialist contractor, as a whole company, its whole setup, it's got design team, it's got operatives. Operatives have been through, you know, NVQs and apprenticeships and all the rest of it, and their management team have been through training, and they've seen it going wrong, and they want to get it right, and they've learned from their lessons. And you know, clearly this parent could actually make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich if they actually wanted to, but it's demonstrating like no amount of very clear moment by moment, blow by blow, methodical explanation of how to do waterproofing is enough. What is enough is use a specialist waterproofing contractor because other people can't get it right. Here's some quick pictures. Sorry. So this is a site that is, I mean, it's enormous, huge double-story basement, and the waterproofing design was this Type A membrane Seeker A08 is in the picture. Nothing wrong with Seeker, and it was very well installed by a main contractor. Actually, sorry, it was a groundwork contractor, and most of the waterproofing install was great. But as you can see in this picture, there were various areas where they taped things. Presumably, they thought that was good enough. And I came along and I just looked at it a little bit and I lifted slightly, and you can see the scale of the hole that water could pass through there is enormous. And a specialist contracting company wouldn't do that. They would be able to see what was wrong, and it goes for the QA as well. You can write into your QA, has every lap been checked? But unless a competent person's looking, you just don't see. Similarly, on the floor slab, there were joints and junctions like this. Anyway, there's my rant about why you need to use a specialist contractor. And I guess I'd summarize it by saying, well, ultimately, no amount of good design from a practice like ours, a clear explanation of this is what the waterproofing should be like, no amount of that makes up for a lack of people on site who know what they're doing. And you don't get people on site who know what they're doing just on a toolbox talk. It's a career. It's years and years of training from other people who've had years and years of training, and it's management systems. However implicit, it's coming from directors who see the risk, who don't want to get it wrong, who've been there, done that, got it wrong in the past, want to get it right now. That's a waterproofing specialist. So please use one of them instead of a groundwork contractor or a main contractor. In my next, I think, 2 or 3 parts of this, I'm going to talk about what makes a specialist contractor. And then I'm going to try and do some stuff around Building Safety Act and competence, which includes knowledge, skills, experience, behaviors. And I want to try and talk about, well, that sort of thing. So thank you.